Well, it's exciting to be here with you all. Darrell Andrews Sr., Coach D, and Darrell Andrews Jr. here with the release. We're very excited about this because we put copious time into it and thought about it. And that is the release of the first superhero project self-paced course for youth. Now, I'm going to cue it up and I'm going to ask Darrell to get some input to it so you can understand what we're doing here. But I have been in the workforce development space for 24 years. I created one of the top workforce youth programs in the United States of America by the name of HYPE, helping youth pursue excellence. Not only did we have high school graduation rates, we had a successful entry into careers, entry into CTE, entry into even some going to the military. We were able to inspire our young people to have what we call, as you and I know, post-pandemic success. And we believe here at our firm that a student with a dream is a student with a future. So if we can get our young people to embrace careers and embrace future possibilities, man, that I can just imagine what that would do to academic outcomes and things of that nature. However, let me back up a little bit. When you ask the average young person, what do they want to do with their lives? 90% of them are going to say, I don't know. Even though they may have a talent, they may have a skill, I don't know. And so what Darrell and I have decided to do is come together. Darrell's a graduate of one of the top art schools in the United States of America, Ringling College of Art and Design in Sarasota, Florida. We has a degree in illustration and visual development. And as I mentioned, I've been a consultant, trainer, and speaker to workforce development for years. So what we decided to do was, let's do something creative. Let's take what young people know about, and even adults as well. Let's take superheroes and make a connection to the fact that superheroes are super because they have superpowers. And what do they typically use those superpowers for? For the betterment of mankind, usually to help. Now, on the evil side, that's different, but but we're not going to talk about them there, all right? But on the positive side, they use their gifts for betterment. And what we want young people to realize is they have superpowers too that they can use for betterment. And those superpowers are their gifts, their talents, and their abilities. And so, Darrell, we talked about this and we've been working on this, and you've been speaking now and impacting young people's lives. Just take a half a minute and talk about the power of this whole thing of your superpowers being your gifts, talents, and abilities. What are some of those gifts, talents, and abilities that these young people have that can be superpowers to help them?
Yeah, so I actually gave a speech on this last week. So what we really focus on are how your gifts, talents, and abilities are connected to your words, your focus, and your impact. And when we actually started this a little while ago. We had sort of like a beta test for it when I was in high school, just to
Yep.
sort of test the waters and see how it worked. And we did during that run was we gave each student a sheet of paper. I had them create their own superhero profile sheet where they would turn themselves into a particular superhero. And
Yep.
they would write down their gifts, talents, and abilities, and they would see them as superpowers. And then what we're doing now is we're just going to enhance that. We're going to make it a little bit more elaborate. We're going to connect the power of words, focus, and impact to the superhero profile sheet.
Yep.
And yeah, just really engage them and create the whole team-based mindset, because it's not just about them as an individual, it's them as a group. So
Yep.
we're going to hammer
And
home.
that's powerful, man, what you're saying, because like a lot of times, a lot of folks are probably going to sign their young people up are part of groups. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? It could be an after school program. It could be a gear up program, another college access program. It could be a program just with a local community-based organization that has youth, summer programs, things of that nature. So these young people are going to be in teams. And I want to speak to that if you don't mind,
Yeah.
because and this is a piece that we're going to add to it. Darrell, I don't even know if I mentioned to you, but I think I'm going to just share here what we're looking. we're going to talk about them creating dream teams. And a dream team is a team of people, no more than 4 or 5, who have interest in the same things you have interest in. So they could be in your school building, because that's another place where this can be appropriate. And you may find, let's say I have an interest, my superpower is in STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math. Well, we're going to say, hey, are there 4 or 5 other people who have that same superpower that you can get together with and say, let's encourage each other around success in this space. I'll tell you something, Darrell. There's this book I read years ago, and this is for the audience out there, but sharing it with Darrell as well. But there's a book that was written years ago called The Pact, P-A-C-T. It's one of the most powerful books I've ever remember reading, because it was about these 3 young African Americans. And let's make it clear, the Superhero Project is for all kids. I'm just using this as an example. It's not just for African American kids, it's for all kids. But these 3 young African American boys from the projects in New Jersey said that one day we're going to grow up to become doctors. They came together, they created a pact. That's what why it's called the pact. And guess what all 3 of those boys grew up to become?
Doctors.
Doctors.
Yeah.
Because they carried from the energy of each other.
Yeah.
And so with the Superhero Project, I want young people to know something. Isn't it interesting that superheroes always seem to come together?
Right.
Like the Avengers,
Justice League.
Justice League.
Exactly.
Right.
Yep.
They come together. Why? Because they all want to enhance their superpowers for the betterment of mankind. And like, for instance, like, let's talk superhero talk. Like the Avengers, the first Avengers is still one of my favorite shows. I still love that show because, they needed each other to defend against that interplanetary thing that was taking place that Loki initiated. But if they didn't have the Hulk, if they didn't have Captain America, if they didn't have Black Widow, they would not be able to defeat them. So what am I trying to say, Darrell? And maybe you can chime in on this.
Yeah.
That when you are using your superpowers, sometimes your superpowers are enhanced when you're around other people.
I wanted to point that out. It's your own powers, your gifts, talents, and abilities, which are your powers.
Yeah.
They're also connected to your identity. And once you connect with other people who see that in the same way, you're going to sharpen and strengthen your own sense of self. And that can be greatly enhanced when you're around people who are into the same things that you're into, gifts, talent, and ability wise. So
that's powerful, man. That's it. And we find a lot of times, because especially in my space, traveling and working and speaking and working with youth and working with schools and working with workforce groups and all of that you find sometimes you see a certain segment of young people that have come together and say, hey, we like XYZ.
Yep.
Or we like XYZ. And they're just encouraging each other in that. So this is really powerful, because what we're trying to do with this self-paced course is create that.
Yeah.
We want to take this course, and our goal is to teach young people to, first of all, identify their superpower. Darrell, I'll say this, you're my son and you relate, but my mother, when I was a kid, and I always jokingly tell this when I speak at conferences, but my mother used to always say to me, and I laugh thinking about it, she would say, boy, one day you're going to use that mouth to make a difference. She would always,
that's it.
Because I was just this little loudmouth kid, always having something to say.
Right.
And now 2,500 stages later and thousands of schools and workforce development organizations, she was absolutely right. Because guess what? What she released in me was my superpower.
Yeah.
That's why we're even here today. That's my superpower. And so that's mine. And so other people may be other things. I had a younger cousin named Troy who loved automobiles, man. When he was 5 and 6 years old, he was tinkering with engines. we thought something was wrong with him. We said, why is this little boy all interested in car engines? Well, he grew up and became an adult who started building cars, specialized cars for people, and charging a truckload of money. He would literally build the cars from the ground up. That was his superpower. So I think what we're trying to say here is, let's help young people identify their superpowers. And then let's help them to craft a strategy to take that superpower and create the life that they want. How important is that, Darrell, you think, when you hear that? Just taking your gifts, your talents, and ability and carving out the life you want.
Well, it's huge because it's really really big, and the reason why is because that's the framework for your life going
Yeah,
forward. And a lot of times you'll sort of have this idea of like, okay, where's my life going to go? Because life can go in any kind of direction.
right.
But that's why it's important to really solidify on what you want to do and make that known, and have other people in your corner who have that same sort of mindset.
That's it.
Because what's going to happen is it's all energy, the
Yeah,
same mindset, that same sort of effect that's inside that person's head is going to translate over to the way you start thinking. And once you start creating a group of that, especially in kids, then it's
yeah,
going to create this effect to where it'll start to create an outpour effect to other students as well. And that's
that's
where you
it.
start to see these clubs start
Yeah,
to grow and begin and
yeah.
everything. So yeah,
I even hope at some point, like these groups we're working with, you just mentioned a word that I just want to put out there, that there'll be superhero clubs in schools. You
yeah,
know,
yeah,
there'll be superhero clubs in organizations like that. By using like this course can be a foundation for building out a club
yeah,
where people are using their superpowers. And so,
absolutely.
one thing we're going to say is like, we're going to want everybody to create their own superhero, but you're the superhero. And
Yeah,
so we can take that, put those pictures up on the wall, and when I walk into my program or if I walk into my classroom, I can see myself as that superhero or super hero up on that wall. That's why I'm here to go to school today. That's why I'm in this program, because I'm going somewhere.
right.
You know? And so, but you just think about how powerful it is, man. Some of the greatest people we've ever seen in society and history use their superpowers to change the world, be it through art, be it through entertainment, be it through sports. I just watched, I'm a Philadelphia Eagles fan, and I just watched my Philadelphia Eagles win the Super Bowl. But Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley, they used their talents and their skills to win a championship. And we're saying to young people, and to those of you who work with young people, let's help young people do the same. They're not going to be a Jalen. I know a lot of young folks, people say they want to play sports, but there's a 0.01% chance you can ever do that. But guess what? You can build a building, you can fix an air conditioning unit. You can go to college and get a degree in communications, go work for a communications company, become a marketing person. That's no different than all these people are pros, just like you're a pro. It's just that they're pro in sports. But even if we like sports, you may have a superpower of communications and become a sports commentator, or you have a really good writing skill and you can become a sports journalist, or you're really good at negotiating. So you can use the superpower and become a sports agent where you're representing. Isn't that powerful, son, when you think about it,
Yeah,
Daryl?
yeah. And what's cool about this is we're growing and we're starting. So we're starting
Yeah.
off with the potential for this is huge.
Yes.
So what we're doing now is we're just creating a framework and a structure
Yeah.
for how we're going to present this
Yeah.
and the possibilities for how we're going to grow it in the future. And I think what you're touching on now, especially in just the mindset that we're trying to cultivate, is
Yes.
is very important,
It's
because if there's a lack of purpose, especially in schools, and
hmm
especially like you just go there, you do your work, you go home, that's it.
Yep.
There's going to be a sense of a lack in an individual's life. There needs to be a sense of meaning and purpose, and
Yep.
that comes by understanding your gifts, talents, and abilities. And
Yes.
that will enhance the reason why you go to school, and that
Mhm.
will enhance every other thing you do in your life. So understanding that it's not just an effect that takes place in the school, but it can also translate in other areas outside of school is going to
Yep.
be very monumental as well.
And
So
what's really amazing too when you think about it, then as you're releasing your superpowers, other people are watching you.
yeah,
That could be your younger brother, your younger sisters, it could be your cousins, it could be your friends. And you give them, like, one thing I love about my career is that my career has really spawned other careers, other people who are now using their gifts, their talents, and their abilities to make a difference. I get emails and phone calls all the time. And so what happens, like if there's a young person out there and say, well, I don't have any talent. Yes, you do. But once you identify it and start to use it, you're going to start impacting other people that's going to watch it. How is this person doing? Even in our own family, like you and your siblings and some of my younger cousins, just by me releasing my superpower, you know what I mean? It empowered them to everyone else to release theirs, and your mother and others who she released hers. So the point I'm making is this: Darrell and I are creating something that's innovative. And another thing I want to add to this before we let this move on is that we're doing this, okay? We're doing this as a father and son team. And that's something unique right there. And we hope that young people will benefit from seeing that. You know, that as a father and a son, we are working together to make a difference all over this country and all over this world with the superhero project. We believe in it. You know, so with this course, there's going to be 7 specific modules. We're looking at the start date is in mid-March sometime. And what we're going to be doing is every week a new course lesson is going to come out. But each young person will get a video that's going to be interactive and engaging, and they're going to get a module in which they can put their information on. And we're going to give them just some general paperwork just to be able to create their own superhero while they're doing it. And then what we're going to do is midway through this series, we're going to offer a free Zoom meeting. And what that means is that all the young people that are taking the superhero course can jump on that Zoom meeting along with their instructors and their teachers and all that and ask us any question you want. Any question you want. So we're not just putting you on a course, we're saying we're going to be there for you. And at the end, we're going to do it again. We're going to do it one more time. This is solidified. So again, there will be several courses on identifying your superpower, utilizing your superpower, the power of superpowers as it relates to education and those things. There's going to be a lot of good material in there. But the big thing we hope, as we get ready to wrap this up, is that young people will use this information to transform their lives forever. How important is that, Darrell? Isn't that something, man? Forever.
Yeah, no. I'll tell you this. As someone who's, pushing up in age, getting close to 30, I look at my own life as a way, especially now, getting older, as a way to give back, especially with younger people or to younger people. So growing up as a kid who had mentors and, had examples of people who were doing really phenomenal things, what I saw was, okay, this is how I want to sort of lead my life in a way that through my words, through my actions, through my demeanor, through my character, sort of show, especially younger people, high schoolers, middle schoolers, even elementary school students, just the power of your identity, right? And how that can shape your future. And understanding that, even being understanding as a human being is very key, is really key just to going forward in life in general. And once you come to understand that these gifts, powers, these gifts, talents, and abilities are your identity, that's what that will do, is it will enhance your outlook on life. Yeah. Because it's no longer just a detachment. Like, these are just your gifts, talents, and abilities, and then you have other things in your life. No, this is what you are. Like, everything you talk about, everything you like, the things you want to see take place in the world, this is at your core. So that's what we want to share with students.
That's powerful, man. And we're gonna conclude with this, because you said something that I say a lot when I speak publicly, and that is, we want to take this from what we do to who we are.
Who we are. That's it.
Like, I work out every day, even at my age. And I tell people, they say, how do you do this every day except for Sunday? I said, because it's no longer what I do. It's who I am. Fitness is just who I am. And so when you see the most successful people in their careers, it's not even necessarily a career anymore to them. It's just who they are. You know what I mean? Doctors and lawyers and actors and entertainers and sports athletes. The greatest sports athletes, it's just who they are. They're not even caught up into the fanfare of all of that. It's like, well, it's good that you're excited about it, but this is who I am.
Yeah. And the superhero aspect is pretty fun as well. And I think that's pretty cool that we incorporated that in there. Because superheroes, there's a lot you could do with that. You could talk about different powers you would like to have if you were a superhero. And there's different dynamics that we're going to touch on. Like, I mentioned the teamwork aspect.
Yes.
The idea of leadership.
Right.
So it's going to be a lot that we're going to touch on.
Well, I'll tell you this, sign your young people up. If you have a group of young people and you can't sign up through the sign up system, we're open to invoices. So if you're an organization, school, and can pay via invoice, you just would invoice us. We would invoice you. Excuse me, you would send us a purchase invoice you, and all we would need is the list of the young people in their emails, and we will plug them into the system, and then they can participate. So we're there's multiple ways you can do this, but I'm just going to encourage you, please sign them up. This is going to be great. This will be good for summer programs. This will be good for after school programs. This will be for schools, and specifically if you have different clubs or groups in your schools, sign them up. The price is reasonable, all right? But the outcome is priceless because we are on a mission to create superheroes, superheroes. And in particular, during times like this, when everybody's trying to figure this career thing out and careers are changing, we're big on encouraging young people to look at STEM careers. I know that's a big thing in our world now. Science, technology, engineering, and math. A lot of young people don't realize there's a lot they can do in that space, but understanding there's that superpowers in them to be able to accomplish that. So, Darrell, thank you so much, man, for your commitment to this. There's a million things you could be doing. We're excited as a father, and I'm going to say it again, as a father and son team, to be able to create something that's going to, I believe, can transform, if not this country, the world, if young people get on to hold on to it, because it's different, it's innovative, and it's fun. So, any last words you'd like to share? And we're just going to wrap this.
No, I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm just looking forward to get started.
Yep.
Just seeing the outcome of what we're offering.
Again, the date and information is here. We're going to be hosting this on Thinkific, and it's self-paced. So a young person, but again, we're not putting every course up at once. As we're doing it, it's going to be a course a week because we don't want people to get ahead of themselves. So it's a course a week, and then do the assignment in between, come back to the next one. And then at the end, we're giving us a little bit of a certification. It's going to be pretty cool, a little superhero certification, things like that. So they'll have something, in their hands to share that I went through this course. So thank you so much for your time. Get on board with us. Tell your peers about it. Share it with your fellow schools. Share it with your fellow programs. If you're in like a program that has multiple programs all over the country, share it with your peers throughout the country. And who knows, maybe, just maybe, because we don't just do self-paced courses, Darrell and I can come to your organization or your school and speak to you in person about the Superhero Project. So keep that in mind as well. We're not just virtual. We're not just self-paced. We travel all over the country with this particular message as well. So we'll see you and your young people on this program so we can create some amazing superheroes and superheroes that will use their talents, gifts, and abilities to make a difference in their lives and the lives of many others. Thank you so much, and we look forward to serving you.
Yes.